All right, this horse girlfriend, she's 25. We've had her about 12 years. My son Guy used her in 4-H for about 6 years. She has an awesome stop on her. He placed in the state 4-H contest in reining twice on her. She's been a good little horse. You can do anything on her, but she's getting old. Lately, she's been lame in that right hind, and she has what we call navicular disease. I don't shoe her, or I haven't put shoes on her for a year or so because we haven't been riding her hardly at all. So today I'm just going to trim her feet because they're long, and we'll take her out and turn her loose and let her have a good summer. We may ride her once or twice this summer, but not very far. It's not like it's going to be a long ride, but I've had this horse on some long rides. I think the longest ride we've ever gone on is 30 miles on this little horse. So she's done good. You can see there. Foot's get really long. It hasn't been trimmed since probably December. So we just want to take that toe off. We don't really want to do much with these heels. The higher the heel on a navicular horse, the better off they're going to be, the more comfortable they're going to be. Clean this frog up a little bit. Gonna get that manure out of there.
What is the disease again?
Navicular disease.
What is that?
So the navicular bone sits inside this foot, right in this area where my thumb is. It's shaped like a little boat, like a ship. It's about that big. And what happens when that starts to, sometimes it cracks, sometimes it'll decay, not decay, but start to dissolve. Blood circulation doesn't get there, and it causes soreness in the heels right here. So for years, we've put what we call an egg bar shoe, I'll show you that in a minute, and a wedge pad on this horse. And she's been sound. And we've ridden the crap out of her. We've ridden her a lot. But recently, this hind leg's been a problem, and it's just old age. So today we're just trimming her. She's an exceptional cow horse. I mean, I'm a terrible roper, but I've roped on her, drug cattle on her. One day, me and my wife, Becky, got lost in a trail ride. Becky rode her for about 30 miles. That was about a 12-hour ride. I'm glad Becky didn't divorce me after that ride. So basically, we want to level these up. This outside hill's a little high. Still. This foot looks pretty good. Looks like that other front one's kind of busted up. I probably should have trimmed her a couple months ago. It's a nice day. It's kind of warm. The wind's not blowing. That's like a miracle. I think the wind blows about 360 days a year in Snowflake. It's too bad horses have to get old. This horse has been a good horse for us. Actually, it's my dad's horse. He paid $300 for her because she was lame. But after one shoeing, she went sound, and we've had her for 12 years, and she's been a sound horse. He used to ride her all the time, but now he's too crippled up to get on her, so I guess that's what happens with age too. You can kind of see here, see how we got a lot more foot over here? That's from not trimming her often enough. That's my fault. The balance of that foot's off. For walking around in the pasture, it's not really affect her, but that might be part of the lameness issue she's having too. She kind of drags this hind leg. This horse is a good parade horse. I've ridden her in the Fiesta parade down in Phoenix a couple of times. She carries a flag good. She's pretty bone proof, this horse. Let me grab a shoe like I would put on her. So this is an egg bar shoe. This is aluminum, and it's got a wedged heel, which really helps this horse. And I'll trim this foot, and that shoe should almost fit on that foot if I were going to nail it on, and we wouldn't have to modify it very much. These are made by KB. They're awesome shoes. Let's see what it looks like. You can see I'm trimming because this toe is super long and kind of busted out. I'm glad Sydney's helping me out. She's a good photographer, a good editor. She does a lot of good stuff for me. You can see where that's busted out right there, just from not being trimmed. I could probably put a shoe on this foot, but it'd be a little bit harder because that hoof wall's busted off right there, right here. But just in my defense, if we were riding this horse, I would never let her feet get like this. She'd have shoes on and be ready to go. All of you know how it is in your life. Sometimes you put things on the back burner a little bit. Kind of what happened to this mare this winter. Just an example. So this shoe, it's a little narrow, but you can kind of get the point. So it goes back here beyond the bulbs of the heel and takes the pressure off that navicular bone right to where my finger is inside that foot. Just by that extension and that wedge, it lifts that heel up and eases the pain right there. It's kind of a neat way that it works. So that's the concept of an egg bar shoe. I don't use a lot of these, but they do work really good. And I've never had this horse pulling these shoes off. I mean, she's been on some pretty vicious trails, and when my son was doing full race, we never pulled the shoe off by reining or slide stops or anything like that. We always booted her up, so she was protected and she did fine. Okay, so we got her trimmed now. I'm just going to brush her a little bit to get some of this hair off. She looks like a woolly mammoth. Okay, so we're going to brush this horse now. It's very important to brush your horse. You know, this time of year, it's the end of April. My other horses, Sydney showed these other two, Cisco and Joey, they're all slicked off because we've been riding them. And every time we ride them, we brush them. This horse here, I haven't brushed since last fall. And that's neglect. So you're getting the neglect of the Jason the Farrier today. So it's important to brush these horses, especially in the spring. They start shedding. If you look up here, you can see all this hair that's just stuck to her, just because she hasn't been brushed for 6 or 8 months. And that's gross, really. Feel bad for this poor horse. Now, she does roll out there in the pasture, and some of this is rolled off, but it's still good to take a brush to these horses. If you're riding, you don't want to let dead hair on your horse. You can see she's hot from this. Well, that's fly spray, never mind. So you can see up here in her shoulder area, she's already slicked off. She's rubbed a lot of that off. Looks like she got a cockle burr in her mane. And they like to be brushed. It feels good to them. It's kind of like you getting your back scratched. They love that. And so I've never seen a horse that didn't like to be brushed. Most horses like to be ridden. They enjoy having a job. I think that's like most of us. If we sit around and do nothing all day, we kind of have a miserable state of mind. But if we're active and can do something like go on a horseback ride or go to work or whatever, we're a lot happier. I know I'm happy every day I go to work. Okay, let's get this other side. She's a lot hairier on this side. You can see all that clumps of hair coming off her. You can use this is a curry comb. I mean, you can use a shedding blade or whatever you want to use. And they all work about the same, as long as it's that's a steel surface and that has teeth on it, so it grabs that hair and pulls it out. So something like that. If you have a soft brush, it doesn't do that, then you're not going to get much hair off. So if you spend 5 minutes or 10 every time you ride a horse and just brush them down, you'll have a lot more attractive horse, and they'll feel a lot better too. You get all that dead hair. And not only that, they get dirt and stuff on them. You want to make sure you have them clean before you put a saddle on them, so you don't cause problems. Maybe we'll ride this horse one of these days. Last time she got ridden, my son Jake rode her in the Pioneer Days Parade at the Hash Knife. She really takes care of old Jake. All right, we got her pretty good for now. Here we go. She's a good horse. Well, that's all we got for today, but I'm grateful that you could watch, and remember to like and subscribe, and I'm thankful for Sydney for helping me out. Like I say, it's a super nice day here in Snowflake, and when the wind's not blowing, that's a huge blessing around here. Talk to you later.